anyone who tries to tell you that another regime change war for the extraction of oil for our oil barons is going to somehow magically improve your material conditions, make rent more affordable, make groceries more affordable is lying to you, okay? Sure, we'll get the goods, we'll get the oil, but that's not going to yield American prosperity. It's not going to create American prosperity at all. It's going to create prosperity for the oil and gas industry. And that's it. And as we know already, those gains do not trickle down at all. And you're a fucking moron for thinking that it does.
Will this change your opinion on voting on Trump? Well, I mean, if he keeps this up for the next 3 years, maybe I would vote for him again, right? I mean, this is going pretty well.
The other thing that I find really funny is that I feel like his reactions are so fake. Like, I feel like he's just putting on a show every time he does this. Like, he's like, yeah, this is so based, guys. I don't know if other people actually see that. Maybe I'm thinking this way. I don't know. Maybe his reactions are real, but it always feels so forced.
For the next 3 years, maybe I would vote for him again, right? I mean, this is going pretty well. This is what I want you to do this on the first day. This is cool, but we have a lot of domestic enemies I wish we'd focus on. I think that's a fair criticism, and you're right to think that, that, like, you know, we have a lot of problems here in the U.S. You know, we need to focus on that, too, and not just think about, like, you know, regime change in Venezuela. But the reality is that
Yeah, but we do have to do regime change in Venezuela, you know? We have to. Like, I know we need to focus on ourselves and not regime change in Venezuela, but it's probably good that we're doing regime change in Venezuela.
Venezuela is an existential threat to America.
Wow. How is Venezuela an existential threat to America?
It absolutely is. Whenever you have...
Oh, he said it absolutely is. Okay, my bad. My mistake. I didn't realize he was just going to say it absolutely is. I guess there's no counter argument.
A cartel government that is based around running
None of this is true.
Inside of the United States.
None of this is true. And ironically, one can make the argument that Donald Trump was more responsible for a lot of Venezuelans actually fleeing Venezuela due to the sanctions and also offering them temporary protected status, which is once again interesting position. Because on the one hand, I'm sure he will say this is good for the Venezuelan people that they like finally deposed of Maduro, who everyone in Venezuela hates, while simultaneously talking about Venezuelans coming into the country as a scourge. Again, if your goal is to just consistently pump up whatever the Trump is saying and doing and say it's based, you're going to be just as inconsistent as Trump. Obviously, this doesn't matter for a lot of people who just want to hear someone say Trump is based.
This is very clearly a problem for us. Like, this is it. It's not like they're sitting over there in their own area just each other. No, absolutely not. They go and they're doing it all over the world. And they're doing it over.
It's really interesting because Trump's very own DEA, you know, numerous agencies have found that Venezuela is not a significant narco trafficking hub at all. It's their own assessment of the situation and does not have a connection to the Maduro government at all.
Over here, we can't let that happen. What are you talking about? So, yeah. And the world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source of nuclear. Damn, I don't know why I can't talk. The world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source for nuclear escalation. Absolutely, you're right.
A potential source for nuclear escalation. A potential source for nuclear escalation. What is the nuclear escalation potential here with Venezuela? He's just making up stuff that even the administration is not making up at this point. Hasanabi doctrine? Yeah, Venezuela does not have fucking nuclear arms. What are you talking about? That's not even one of the lies that the administration presented. He's just making up new lies.
100% you are. You remember whenever Trump bombed Iran and he just totally wiped out their nuclear system? Like, the entire place looked like the,
Bro, you're miserable. Does it make you feel bad when you hear how easily debunked your favorite content creators' talking points are? Would you rather just keep thinking that he's right? Is that what it is? Is that why you have to lash out like this? Going wah, wah. Counter the positions that I'm making right now, or shut the up. That's all this is. This is a political conversation. I'm a political actor. So is Asmongold. Okay. He's a political commentator. I'm a political commentator. This is a conversation about politics. This is a conversation about history. This is a conversation that's taking place about the talking points that he is putting out there. You can keep fantasizing about me crashing out or that I'm a fool or whatever, but the reality of the matter is I don't hear a lot of addressing of the talking points. Also, I think people can see me. They can see me. They can see that I'm not crashing out.
Change the geography of the entire area. There were not even any photos of it. You couldn't even see it. And it's like you could see a difference with a satellite, and you didn't even know where the building was.
Wait, was he talking about Iran when he said the nuclear threat?
Trump bombed Iran, and he just totally wiped out their nuclear system, rid of them as a potential source of.
Oh, he says getting rid of Venezuela is a potential source of nuclear threat, and then he pivots to Iran. First, he says that Venezuela is a potential source for nuclear threat, which is not the case.
Them as a potential source of nuclear. Damn, I don't know why I can't talk. The world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source for nuclear escalation. Absolutely, you're right. 100% you are. You remember whenever Trump bombed
Yeah, and then he starts talking about Iran afterwards.
Iran, and he just totally wiped out their nuclear system. Like the entire place looked like it like changed the geography of the entire area.
Fordow was an underground facility that was hit with bunker buster bombs. Obviously, the only thing that you could see was two minor impact sites. It didn't actually change the entire geography at all. It's an underground facility that seemingly didn't actually put a dent in the Iran nuclear uranium enrichment program, according to what Israel is saying. Now, Israel might be lying about that, but that's at least something that they're admitting. I don't think that was that successful overall.
There were not even any photos of it. You couldn't even see it. And it's like you could see a difference with a satellite, and you didn't even know where the building was. And so anyway, all this happened, and then everybody's like, oh, they're going to retaliate. They're going to fight back. Did they?
They did.
They didn't do a fucking thing. Hassan's mental gymnastics are very tiring. Well, the thing is that, do you remember?
Hassan's mental gymnastics are very tiring. I'm anti-intervention. I'm anti-intervention against Venezuela. I'm anti-intervention against Iran. I think that all of this stuff is totally unproductive and at best good for oil barons and those who are in the halls of power, people who are capital owners, right? That's it. It's just for the super wealthy. None of the imperial super profits actually trickle down to the average American citizen, and every single dollar that we spend doing this kind of adventurism overseas is a dollar that we could be spending on ourselves in the United States of America. At its heart, this is actually the America First position. The reality of the matter is Donald Trump knows that is a popular position and yet does not actually follow through on his agenda, follow through on his promise, but is unfortunately able to dupe the minds of many Americans by simply claiming, no, I invented America first. And that actually didn't mean non-intervention. That actually meant intervention when I see fit.
The viewpoint is always the less Western, less white, less Christian, less American, less...
Don't really know what to say to that one. I'm going to reiterate my position. I want us, the United States of America, the wealthiest nation on the planet, to fund healthcare for every American, okay? White, non-white alike, Christian, non-Christian alike. I think we should be spending our resources here rather than through these kinds of idiotic adventures that seemingly only advance the interests of capital. But once again, this is a thought-terminating cliche. He's deploying this here so that his audience actually feels comfortable with their position. Oh, yeah, we're in opposition to Hassan. He's wrong. He couldn't possibly have the right opinion on this, even if it's one that even Donald Trump himself declared was his position, right? We're not hypocritical. Hassan is inconsistent because he's always finding himself at odds. Let's see what the inconsistency is, though.
Like Western culture thing is good. So basically, whatever is...
Also, Maduro is Christian and also Western. I don't understand, but go
farther away from those values is the thing that these people will support. It is that simple. I know that you might think there's no way it's that simple. Absolutely it is.
Yes. 12 plus years of writing, reading, doing political commentary, working on political campaigns, working with politicians, getting politicians elected, interviewing politicians, advocates, organizers. All of that reduced to a guy who does not shower saying Hassan just simply takes the non-white, non-Western, non-Christian position. You can delude yourself into thinking that this is my analysis, but if you're even a little bit intellectually curious, you'll probably come in here and check it out for yourself and realize that that's not the case. Unfortunately, unlike you, or unlike Asmongold, I actually have respect for my audience's level of intellect. And maybe he's right. Maybe his audience is too stupid to actually check. But it's very clear that he thinks his audience is too stupid to actually check. And many in his audience actually don't.
It is. And once you...
The reality of the matter is, if Kamala Harris was actually facilitating this campaign, if you think Asmongold, even for a brief moment, would come out and say, this is actually based, this is awesome, instead of saying what he was saying during the election cycle, which is that Kamala Harris is going to do war, Trump is actually the peaceful president, you would be delusional. This is not even hypothetical. He did say that he was anti-interventionist during the election campaign because Donald Trump was anti-interventionist, or at least presented himself as anti-interventionist.
See it from that angle, it's hard not to keep seeing it that way.
Also, didn't Asmongold say he agrees with you a lot? Yeah, no, that's only when I actually approach him. Then he has to concede on a lot of the positions, because a lot of the positions, if he were to like advance in a back and forth conversation, they would look really silly.
Because that's always how it's going to be. And it's so obvious too. Yeah, I think that, like, you sound like a schizo saying it, but whenever you have so many points on a graph, you're going to be able to draw a line. So yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And I don't care about Venezuela. That's pennies to the illegal stuff in America compared to Mexico. Well, it's a lot of the thing is that if we're able to trade with Venezuela and we're also able to...
we are able to trade with Venezuela. The only reason why we haven't traded with Venezuela more frequently is because the American government doesn't want to trade with Venezuela. As a matter of fact, if you knew anything about anything, including about Venezuelan trade, for example, you would know that we have been trading with Venezuela even consistently through this blockade. And not only that, but we've also still had Chevron operating inside of Venezuela while we had our Navy carriers off the coastline of Venezuela.
Weaken other global enemies. The problem is that, like, I don't even really disagree with you, and I think that you can really do both. Like, if you're looking at what's happening in Venezuela and saying that, like, here's one thing
Tell me this is dumb, or he's just grifting, or he's just dumb and grifting. I just don't think he's that knowledgeable. I don't think he's dumb. I just don't think he's that knowledgeable. But you don't actually have to be knowledgeable when you're grifting to the right. He definitely is grifting. Because at the end of the day, what is all of this for? If the answer is so that a bunch of faceless, lifeless corpo suits make, another collective $1 trillion in profit next year, or add an additional $1 trillion into their net worth, then yeah, that's going to make you feel kind of shitty. But at least in this moment, you get to feel powerful because America got to dominate a country. America got to dominate a country that it's been dominating economically for many, many decades at this point. And that feels like, my team is winning, right? My team is winning, actually. It's not. And it unironically is actually hurting you, because all of our resources, all of our investment, everything that we're doing is going to that, is going to propping up Israel, again, for American foreign policy, for the American State Department, for the interests of capital, dominating Venezuela for the interests of capital. It doesn't actually help you at all. So you just hold on to the cruelty for cruelty's sake, because you have nothing.